Hi, my name is David Bean, and I'd like to talk to you about why I bought a particular brand of table saw, a Sawstop table saw. In fact, that one right there is the one that I bought. Sawstop invented a system that uses one of these. What this is called a brake. And the way Sawstop has set their machine up is that they run a little tiny current through the saw blade. And that little tiny current isn't enough to even feel, it's just enough to be sensed by electronics. And if your finger happened to touch that blade, part of that current would be directed through you. Again, you wouldn't even feel it, but it's enough that the electronics would sense it. And when they do, this has an explosive charge right here, and when that is sensed, the explosive is triggered, it blows this open and pushes this side of the brake into the saw blade as the saw blade is spinning like this. Now that has the effect of this honeycombed aluminum, has the effect of basically mangling the saw blade, right? It stops it though immediately. In fact, it stops it, and the spin that's going on, that's so fast, 3,450 RPM, right? That spin, when it gets stopped, has a lot of inertia. That inertia is used by the Sawstop system to drop the blade off of the table, so it just disappears. So not only does this stop the blade when somebody puts your finger in the middle of it, but it also drops the blade, so it's gone. It's off of the table. It's down below. So it makes it a dramatically safer kind of tool. And the really amazing thing is it does all of that in 5 milliseconds. So think about that. You're watching a video right now that runs probably about 30 frames per second, and each frame has got to be about 33 milliseconds. It says 5. It's faster, it's 4 times faster than an airbag in a car deploys, right? So it's amazingly, well, innovative, and it's a great thing. And my Sawstop saw triggered about an hour ago. This is my son. His name is Thomas. I'm quite fond of him. I actually do love him and care about him a great deal, even if he doesn't put my tools back the right way, usually, but that's okay. Anyway, Thomas was in the garage working on a project with the Sawstop. And I walked out a little while ago, and I noticed that the riving knife was still standing proud of the table, but the blade was nowhere to be seen, and the little red light was on. And that kind of freaked me out, because I thought he had installed the riving knife the wrong way. And turns out, no, he had been working on a project when this blade and this brake cartridge were triggered. Now, how did it actually happen? Did he put his finger in it? No. This can also happen if there is a piece of metal or something else in the wood that would allow that current to move through the blade and ground itself. And that's likely what happened. We're not positive. And in many ways, I don't care why it triggered. It did though. And it disappeared off the top of the table. Thomas was wearing ear protection, and I thought this would be something that was very violent. And it turned out it just happened. It just disappeared. 5 milliseconds gone. There wasn't a terribly loud noise or anything. He didn't hear it over his ear protection. It was just gone. And it took him a second to think what just happened, and then he realized what had happened, and oh boy, I walked away and was waiting for me to find out. But this is amazing. I am so happy that this kind of thing happens. I am more than willing to pay for another blade. The fact that this blade costs, I don't know, $60 or $80, fine. I would rather pay that any day of the week than have my kids' fingers be in jeopardy, right? So yes, I know that this is a blatant advertisement for Sawstop. And you know what? It's true. It is. And Sawstop has not only built a tremendously good saw. I mean, it's fantastic. It's got a very heavy table to it. It has fantastic alignment. It's got a powerful motor. It works like butter. It's just fantastic as a saw. But then it has this safety quality to it. And I work for a company that pays a lot of attention to how its customers feel about its products. Our philosophy is, let's make a product that actually makes a customer happy, and then they'll do it. They'll buy it, right? And so that's what Sawstop's doing. They're not focusing on, I don't know, I've got more features or functionality than the next guy. They're building something that is totally going to amaze and delight their customers. I am amazed and I am delighted right now. If you're interested in learning some more, there's the website to go look at their webpage. They have a bunch of videos, a lot of testimonials that show people who have nicked their finger, and that's it, because the saw worked as it was supposed to. I'm very fond of this company. I'm very fond of this saw, and I'm happy I have it. One more thing about Sawstop. So even though my cartridge was triggered and is now ruined, right? Definitely. And my blade needs to be repaired. You can see that it is it's been mangled, right? So I can repair that. I can replace it. That might cost me, again, $60 or $80. Happy to do that. If I send this back to Sawstop, they use it in a diagnostic way. They plug into it and see how it activated in order to make sure that they've got all the tunings correct. And in return for that, they sent me a free one. So I don't lose anything on the break at all. I have another saw blade I can drop in and an extra one of these right now, so I'm back in business immediately. But that's just a great way to do customer service. I'm very impressed. Again, thank you, Sawstop. And to everyone else, happy and safe table sawing. Bye-bye.